Don't worry, it's a desperado. Never liked Corona anyway. Hey guys, I bet you're probably sitting at home right now because someone's told you can't leave your house. Depending on where you are in the world, this crisis may be affecting you in different ways. I'm guessing if you're in Asia, this has definitely been a thing. If you're where I am in Europe, then I'm guessing that we're just getting to grips with this. And if you're in America, I have no idea what's going on in America. It's just crazy. But wherever you are, I hope that you are at home and doing good and you are safe. I've been working from home and I don't know when I'm going to go back into the office. It's one of those things where we're not being told when this might end. It's been a bit weird. So I'm in London, if you couldn't tell by the accent, and as of the 20th of March, all of our pubs, cinemas, clubs, ice rinks, whatever, you name it, they all shut. So nobody's allowed to go to those. And then 3 days later, our Prime Minister declared a lockdown on London. I know that this current situation has devastated, confused, shocked, inconvenienced a lot of people. And it's just one of those things where we just have to stay home to get through this and to just beat the situation at hand. By doing something as little as staying at home, it could potentially save lives. So please, stay at home. So for the whole of the UK, we've only been stuck at home for just over a week now. And I can sense that it's getting to some people. For some of you, this is really difficult. And for me, I'm not gonna lie, it's really not that hard for me to stay at home. I'm quite an introverted person, I really don't mind. Of course, there's things that I miss, like I miss my friends, I miss seeing my colleagues every day, I miss my boyfriend. That's why I'm wearing his hoodie right now. Doesn't smell of him, but it still reminds me of him. But this whole situation of staying at home, it's not new to me. A couple of days before we went into proper lockdown and loads of things were closing and it was just looking a bit bleak, one of my friends sent me a message and she was pretty scared about what was happening, and I just remembered one message that she sent kind of stuck with me. I don't want to lose a year of my life. I thought back to 2017, 18 when my skin was terrible and it prevented me from doing things. I stopped going to work, I didn't want to meet with friends, I didn't even want to leave the house. I essentially put myself on lockdown because of how I felt and how I looked. Nobody told me to do it, it was my choice. And as much as I missed doing things and I missed people and I missed the old me, I knew it's what I had to do in order to heal, if that makes sense. I just needed to shut out the world and just focus on me. It was a choice that I made, and at the same time, I didn't know when I'd be feeling better again. And that's because TSW has no end date. That uncertainty of not knowing when I was going to get better played in my mind every day. And I'm sure that's what a lot of people are feeling now. They don't know when this is going to end. They don't understand the process of doing this little thing to benefit in the long run. They're only focusing on the now. What my friend is feeling right now kind of mirrors how I felt at the start of my TSW. I felt like my life was put on hold. And I'm sure a lot of you that are going through TSW right now feel exactly the same way. In terms of my friend who is not going through TSW, she is just experiencing a lockdown. I guess if the lockdown was lifted tomorrow, she could just go out and go back to her life. She could go back to partying, doing what she wanted, like nothing had changed. Whereas for those people that are suffering with TSW, if the lockdown was lifted tomorrow, I feel like their reality would still be the same. They would still be at home, they would still be suffering, and they'd still be in pain, constantly worrying of the future and when are they going to heal. I know that some of you sufferers out there have been in isolation for ages. Weeks, months. Some of you, I know it's been years that you've probably mixed back into society. A lot of you feel stuck and you think that the world is literally passing you by and you're stuck in one place and everything else is just moving, and you don't know if you're ever going to catch up because you're taking this time out, but you don't know how long this time out is going to be. So now the world has to slow down. And maybe some of those social pressures of like going to work, having to socialize, have been lifted for you because no one else can do it either. No one else can go out, no one can drag you out. You don't have this fear of missing out. And I feel that some of you are looking at these lockdowns that are going on around the world as some kind of blessing, just because the world has stopped around you. And I'll be honest, I don't know how long this lockdown is going to be in effect for, but it's not going to be forever. I think that a few weeks, maybe a month, is a very small price to pay. Some people do not realize how lucky they are. They are being told to stay at home. The freedom you had of going outside and seeing your friends, that's been taken from you. But everything else you have a bed, you have shelter, you have food, you have entertainment, you have the internet to watch my videos, obviously. But you are essentially healthy, fit and well, and you are safe. But for those with TSW, their home is almost like a prison. You feel safe because you're at home, you're not around people, but your house, your dwelling becomes this place of like darkness. You know, you're in pain, it's hard to sleep, and sometimes it just hurts to do mundane things like have a shower. Just looking at yourself in the mirror while you brush your teeth, like it's painful. One thing I can definitely empathize with is people worrying about their financial situation. People's incomes are their livelihood. This is how the world works. It's how it turns. And not a lot of people can do their job from home. But with this coronavirus, everyone knows about it. The whole world is on alert for coronavirus. We know what it is, we can define it, we can measure it with symptoms, and the government is there to help you recuperate any losses that you have at this time. And hopefully for those people that are self-employed, it will apply to them too. On the other hand, people that go through TSW, some of them cannot work because it is physically too painful. Sometimes their job cannot mix with the fact that they have bad skin, open wounds, and they have to withdraw from work and maybe even ask for financial help. The only problem is when it comes to going to see your doctors and saying that you don't want a specific course of treatment that they think is best for you. I'm talking about steroids. And I've seen it happen. It can be noted down in your file that you are refusing treatment. Now, when that is put in your file, it seems to suggest that you are trying to harm yourself because you are not taking the route that they want you to. And this can interfere with gaining financial aid. So the very system that was there to protect us has now flipped. And that is because we all know the NHS is under too much stress. The NHS have had so many cuts over the years that it's only when we need it the most do we notice it struggling, like right now. Even way before this, you've heard that like when you call up the doctors and it takes like 3 weeks to get an appointment, or the fact that you can only talk to your doctor for 10 minutes per ailment that you have. You'd have to make another appointment to talk about something else. You can understand why something like TSW is getting overlooked. They don't have the time to deal with it. They would rather slap a steroid cream on it as a quick band-aid to get you out of the office. And this is where I think we need reform. Not just for TSW, this is for the NHS as a whole. It needs more funding, it needs to be looked at, the systems need to be reworked because something is not right with how they treat certain things, and just the volume of patients that need to be seen, there isn't enough resources there for them. We definitely need a change. Now, I know this video is talking about TSW while there is a whole crisis going on outside, and please understand, I'm not trying to take away from the coronavirus. We know how serious that is, especially now. This is not something that's going to just pass lightly. But going through this and having everyone having to stay home, it just made me think. And I've just seen so many correlations between how I felt at the beginning of TSW to how a lot of people are feeling right now, being told they can't leave their house. If someone told me that all I had to do was to stay home for 3 weeks and there would be some major change in my skin, I would do it. So I hope that everyone watching this video stays at home for however many weeks it takes to let this virus pass. A couple of weeks is nothing in a lifetime for you to do. Staying at home doesn't have to mean the end of the world. Find something to do. For me, I've been cooking, making crumbles, so I might have to roll myself out of that door once lockdown is finished, but that's not the point. Just be a hermit, just suck it up. By staying home, you can stop the spread of this virus, and by sharing the word of topical steroid withdrawal and topical steroid addiction, you can potentially save an eczema sufferer or a psoriasis sufferer from going down the same road that we did. So I will see you guys in the next video, and stay safe.